Welcome back to Running Shoes Guru. My name is Brandon and today I'm reviewing the Nike Pegasus 39. Your workhorse with wings is back. And the Pegasus is such a fitting name for this running shoe because it's built with one thing in mind. And that one thing is durability. Now the Pegasus is not an exciting shoe. It doesn't have amazing bounce or a unique ride or any flair. But what it can do is withstand hundreds of kilometers of training. And you only really start to appreciate the Pegasus after 500 kilometers when the shoe looks and rides as well as when you first bought it. Every second year, the Pegasus gets a major update where they change the upper, midsole, and outsole. And that happens to be this year. But it's still a Pegasus and Nike wants it to be consistent, so you know that it will have a very similar ride to last year's version. But what Pegasus loyalists will get excited about is its new weight. It's lost an ounce or 28 grams of weight compared to the Pegasus 38. So in terms of daily trainers, it's lighter than the Ghost, it's lighter than the Wave Rider, the 880 and the Cumulus. The first time I laced the Pegasus up and walked around in it, I noticed that the upper was more comfortable than the last version, especially around the midfoot area. It felt like the midfoot conformed to my foot much better than in the last two versions. I also noticed the lump under my forefoot where the Zoom Air unit is situated, and it felt more prominent than in the last two versions. This is due to the fact that Nike has changed the formulation of the React foam. It feels softer and it feels squishier, so that in turn makes the Air unit in the front feel more prominent. The first time that I laced the Pegasus 39 up and walked around in it, it felt a lot more comfortable than the last version, especially the upper and the midfoot area. It felt like the midfoot conformed to my feet much better than the last two versions. I also noticed that the lump in the forefoot where the Zoom Air unit is situated was a lot more prominent than in the last two versions. And this is due to the fact that Nike has changed the formulation of the React foam to be slightly softer and slightly squishier. So this in turn makes the Air unit in the front feel more prominent. My first run was a very slow, easy 10 kilometers with some faster downhill segments at the end. And for me, the Pegasus 39 felt much better and more comfortable at slightly faster paces below 5 minutes 30 per kilometer. And that's because at slow paces, the Air units in the forefoot felt very intrusive, almost like it was getting in the way. But at faster paces, the lumpy sensation disappeared and the forefoot felt more responsive. I also noticed that the shoe felt very slappy because of all this thick outsole rubber. And this makes the ride feel bottom heavy. This is something that I've noticed with all the Pegasus shoes that I've tested over the years. The Pegasus 39 is back to dual Zoom Air units. It's got one unit in the forefoot and one in the rear foot. Now in the forefoot you can feel it because it's that distinct lump, but in the rear foot you can't feel the Zoom Air units because it's covered with a thick cellulose board. So the result is that transitions from the heel to the midfoot feel smooth, but then as soon as you get up onto the forefoot you can feel that distinct lump. Now in my opinion, it's time that Nike lets go of the Zoom Air units in the Pegasus. Because if they replace it with Zoom X, the Pegasus will be much softer, lighter, and bouncier. I enjoyed running in the Pegasus 39 mostly for short and middle distance runs below 20 kilometers and between 4 minutes 30 and 5 minutes 30 per kilometer. That was the sweet spot for me. Anything slower than that and the forefoot unit felt too intrusive, while it didn't feel lively enough for anything faster than 4 minutes 30 per kilometer. The outsole of the Pegasus 39 is slightly different to the last two versions. You still get harder carbon rubber on the heel and on the lateral side, with softer blown rubber on the midfoot and on the forefoot. And one of the main differences is that these horizontal flex grooves now stretch the entire width of the forefoot. So the Pegasus 39 is a little bit more flexible in the forefoot than in the last two versions. You can also notice these small cutouts on the midfoot and the forefoot, and this helps to save weight. It's got protruding lugs on the forefoot and the midfoot, and this makes traction great on grassy areas and light trails. But because of how hard the outsole rubber is, it's a bit slippery on smooth, wet surfaces. When it comes to durability, the Peg 39 is once again first in class. It's built to last, so you can expect the React midsole foam to not lose much cushioning over time, while the thick outsole rubber will probably outlast the rest of the components of the shoe. The upper is thick and it shows no signs of weakness. Flywire cables also make a return on the Pegasus 39. And Nike originally changed from flywire cables to straps because they said that it distributes the pressure more evenly on your midfoot. But I think what they have realized is that if flywire cables are done correctly, like in the Pegasus 39, then it doesn't cut into your foot, and it also comes with a weight-saving advantage. The tongue of the Pegasus is asymmetrical, and it reminds me a bit of the Pegasus 36 tongue, but the 39's tongue is much thicker, so it protects the top of your foot from lacing pressure. It's gusseted, and there's no tongue slide, but it does make the shoe very warm. Foot lockdown is excellent, and there's no heel slippage. You get an internal heel counter, which provides adequate support, and you also get double row eyelets to do runner's knot lacing if you need to. The Pegasus 39 fits true to size, and it's got an accommodating toe box, but not a roomy one. The length is perfect, and the standard width should fit most normal foot types comfortably. I see the Pegasus 39 as a retro throwback version of the Pegasus. The reintroduced flywire cables, along with the dual airbag setup, make the Pegasus 39 feel like a Pegasus from 5 or 6 years ago. The new upper is more comfortable than last year's version because it conforms to your foot better, and the new midsole also gives it a softer ride. The weight reduction is a welcome change, so I'd say that the Pegasus 39 is worth upgrading to. The midsole of the Pegasus does feel outdated though, there's no denying that. React foam combined with Zoom Air units doesn't feel exciting or innovative anymore. But it is, however, durable, so you have to decide which factor is more important to you. I'd much rather have a fun, bouncy, exciting shoe than a durable one. If you buy the Pegasus every year, then you already know what you want, and you'll continue getting that with the Pegasus 39. The update is consistent, and it's a decent one. It does, however, come with a $10 price increase, so at $130 US, it's not the cheapest mid-range neutral running shoe anymore. But it is still the most durable one, so it is still great value for money. Thanks for watching my review. If you enjoyed it, please remember to like and subscribe. You can also read my full written review on Running Shoes Guru.